the sage Ramana Maharshi offers us a profound reflection on the nature of our existence. He argued that when we investigate our own presence, we realize that concepts of time and space vanish. They only become relevant when we mistakenly identify with the physical body. However, according to him, our true essence is the absolute self, which transcends time and space, existing eternally and everywhere. This understanding, which is the basis of self-realization, does not come easily. It requires deep introspection and reflection. Ramana Maharshi proposed self-inquiry, Atmavichara, as the most direct method to achieve this freedom. From neti to who am I? Ancient teachings, like those of Shankara, already pointed to self-investigation as the path. The practice of neti, I am not this. I am not that guided the negation of identifications. With the body and mind reveal Brahman the ultimate reality. However, Ramana Maharshi realized that this approach caused confusion. People focused too much on this and that, instead of concentrating on the I, which was the central point of the investigation. To simplify the process and make it more accessible, he introduced the question, who am I, as a direct and positive tool. The beauty of this inquiry lies in its ability to direct attention exclusively to the I, eliminating distractions. Self-inquiry, more than a question, a state of being, it is crucial to understand that who am I is not a question to be repeated like a mantra. Ramana Maharshi clarified that the intention behind it is to investigate the origin of the ego. He suggested that we should seek the source from which the ego rises. By doing so, we discover that it emerges from the real self, and the question itself aims to bring our attention back to this fundamental consciousness. Self-inquiry is, therefore, an act of self-attention, a deep dive into the consciousness of the real self, which is forever beyond all limitations, dissolving the ego to reveal reality. When we investigate the I, seeking its nature or origin, the ego, which has no real, independent existence, simply disappears. At that moment, the inquirer merges with the real self. Ramana Maharshi's famous quote, "The question, who am I?" is not really meant to get an answer, it is meant to dissolve the questioner, perfectly summarizes this process. True reality is described as Satchitananda, being consciousness bliss, a state of pure being where I thought has no place. This reality can only be perceived by those who see the non-existence of the ego. The practice of self-attention, the practical method of self-inquiry, as taught by Ramana Maharshi, is the continuous and uninterrupted attention to the self. It involves focusing exclusively on the feeling of I when a thought arises, instead of being carried away by it. The practice is to turn your attention back to the I that is aware of that thought. Although the power of self-attention may be weak at first, it strengthens with practice. Every time we refuse to give attention to a thought and instead hold firmly to self-attention, we weaken the mental tendencies that gave rise to them. This process frees us from our identification with thoughts and desires by persisting on this path with the conviction that when attention is withdrawn from objects and focused exclusively on the Atman, the truth is revealed. We become disinterested in our mental tendencies and thus maintain a constant self-attention that is the true technique for self-inquiry.